So even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal.
The early 1960s, and America is torn apart by racist segregation. White people and African American people, or colored as they were called then, were divided everywhere. Attacks became prominent from both races. Civil war was just the next step in America's destiny, but there was just one man who begged to differ. Martin Luther King had been running protests all around America, but not like they had been before. An angry mob became a non-violent march with him at the front, and that caught the public's attention more. With white people taking his side, Dr. Martin Luther King knew that the end of segregation was coming, but he also knew that the night was darkest just before the dawn. A march on Washington, D.C. was his plan, but this wasn't going to be like any march that had happened before. This would bring all the black people and many of the white people together at the same time on the same day, all of them asking for the same thing, the Civil Rights Act, the colored people's freedom. Dr. King often referred to the Christian Baptist God as his greatest ally. On one of the marches building up to Washington, the police threatened to attack them with tear gas. Instead of retaliating, the entire march, following his example, knelt down in prayer, then left. Finally, the day came, the day when the battle for the end of segregation would be won or lost. No one knew how many people would turn up, but in the end, the march was a huge success. 250,000 people came, 1/4 of whom were white. Together they marched from the Washington Monument to the Lincoln Memorial, where they were addressed by several protest leaders and religious leaders. The most memorable speech, though, was undoubtedly delivered by Martin Luther King, and was known as the "I Have a Dream" speech. It wasn't scripted at all, and was only prompted by a member of the audience behind him shouting, "Tell them about the dream." And he did.
I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today